So in this video, we're going to talk about about rates. And rates is a comparison of two quantities measured in different units. So it could be any two quantities as long as they're in different units. And here are three examples. The first one is distance over time. And so we're talking about distance over time. An example might be maybe you're looking at how much someone ran, so they might have, or drove, so it might be kilometers over an hour, so that's the distance over time. It could be maybe someone running, so again, meters over seconds, so how many meters did they run over some sort of time frame, so how many meters or distance they traveled over time. The second one we're going to talk about is called payment over time. And so payment over time could, again, mean a couple of different things. And payment over time would be, let's say you work for babysitting. So babysitting over time. So that's payment. You get paid for your babysitting. You get paid a certain amount of money. So payment over how long you worked, and so if you worked in hours, so you get maybe $8 an hour, or an example like that, or if you start a job and you get paid over a certain amount of time. The last one is when we go grocery shopping, and that it's price over weight, and so how much does something cost over how much it weighs. So it depends on what you're purchasing and how much it weighs. So let's say I buy apples and the price of apples are maybe 69 cents, and it might be by the pound. Okay, so for each pound of apples I pay 69 cents. It could be maybe the price of a bag of jelly beans, and maybe the bag of jelly beans is $4.50 for 100-gram bag. So again, the cost of the bag over the weight of the bag. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to try a couple of questions, and each of the questions are for the different three rates that we just talked about. I'm going to leave the question with you for a second. I want you to read the question, pause it. I want you to write down what you know, and then I want you to go ahead and solve it. So go ahead and pause your video. Okay, welcome back. And now I'm actually going to go through the question with you. So the question reads, Zachariah can read 10 pages of a book in 4 minutes. His teacher gave him a 235-page novel. How long will it take him to finish the novel? So if you recall from ratios, remember, think of ratios. You can write it as a ratio first to make sense of it. What do you know over what are you looking for? So I'm going to write it as a ratio, just so that we can reflect back on what we did in the previous video. So our ratios are page, ratio, time. So the pages he can read, so he can read, again, 10 pages, it's written right there, so 10 pages in a time of 4 minutes. That's our ratio. Then you can write the ratio for the new one that you're looking for. So his teacher gave him a novel that is 235 pages long, so again, under pages, I write 235, and we are looking for how long it takes him to read it, so we are looking for time, and we're going to put our x value as time. So again, from this, to your next step, and your next step is turn a ratio into a fraction. Remember, the first number in the ratio is your numerator, the second numbers in your ratio are your denominator, and your ratio would basically, in between them would be your equal sign. So let's take a look at this. So if we turn this into a fraction, it's going to be 10 over 4 equals 235 over x. So now again, you can do this in two different ways. You can say what number multiplied by 10 is going to give me this value, and then do whatever you do to the top, you do to the bottom. Or you can go ahead and do the other method that I've shown you, and we're just going to go through the second method once again so that you can see what's going on. So if I do it through this method, I go ahead and I start my cross multiplication, and so on one side I have, I'm kind of running out of space at the bottom, so I'm going to work on the side here, 235 times 4 equals 10x. And again, algebra tells us first to do the multiplication, so I go ahead and I do my multiplication. So 235 multiplied by 4 equals 940 equals 10x. And so again, I need to get my variable. Remember, in algebra, in order to solve for a variable, you need to get the variable on your own. What is next to my variable? There's a 10 next to my variable. Means I need to get rid of that 10. When there is no actual mathematical concept written there, you know that this number times by the variable means 10 times the variable, so 10 times x. The opposite of multiplication is division. So in order to get rid of this 10, I'd have to divide it by 10. Whatever I did to one side, I have to do my other side to make a balanced equation. So 940 divided by 10 then would equal 94 equals x. So it's going to take him 94 minutes to read this novel. And so again, then you can convert, if you want, convert minutes into hours and hours and minutes, or you can leave it in this form if you would like. So in total, it's going to take, then you'd write it out as a statement, take 94 minutes to read the novel. Okay, so make sure, again, go through what I've just done, go through what you've done, and check whether what you've done is correct according to what I've given you. Okay, so moving on to the next one, and this is payment over time. And so payment over time, that's the other form of looking at a ratio. And so in this question, it says, Taha's mom pays him $2 for every hour of housework he does. Taha really wants to buy a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game, which costs $28 including HST. How many hours of housework will he have to do to earn enough money to buy that video game or the video game? So again, now that we've read the question, pause the video, write down what you know, go ahead and solve, and then come back and check if your work was correct. So go ahead and pause the video. And welcome back. So now we're actually going to go through the question and make sure you have the solution according to what we've done. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write down what I know. And I know that Taha is getting paid $2 per hour. So I know that as a fraction it's going to be 2 over 1. And so I can write this in a ratio form. So my ratio would be 2 over 1. Again, I can write payment and time. So I write it as a ratio, payment over time. And again, I know that he wants to get to a total of $28. So he wants to earn $28. So again, I can put down the payment he is looking for is $28. And I need to solve for time. Sorry, that's an x. So I need to solve for my x value, which is time. Again, the same thing we've done before. Put it into a fraction, from a fraction, then go ahead and solve. So again, the first numbers are my numerators, the second numbers are my denominators, so this fraction is going to be 2 over 1 equals 28 over x. And again, for this one, I'm going to show you the other method again so that you remember what the other method looks like. And I try to find a number from which 2 can be multiplied into 28. And I think about it, and 2 times 14 would equal 28. So if 2 times 14 equals 28, 1 times 14 will give me the value of x. And I know that 1 multiplied by 14 equals 14. Therefore, my x value equals 14. So my answer would be that Taha needs to work a total of 14 hours to earn $28 to pay for his video games. This is the other method of solving it. Again, I'm always trying to give you different methods. You can use the methods that I give you, or you can come up with something on your own, as long as you show all of the steps required for me to be able to follow along. Okay? And our last question is a question of price over weight, so the payment over weight concept. And here we go. The question says, you go to a candy store to get something sweet. They have a 350-gram bag of jelly beans for $3.49. They also have a 225-gram bag of the same jelly beans for $1.75. You want to find out which one is the best value. So again, I'm going to ask you to pause the video at this point. Before you do, make sure you write down what you know before you try to solve it. Follow the formulas or follow the methods that I've kind of given you ahead of time. So pause the video now. Go ahead. And welcome back. Okay, now let's go through what I know and what I want to find out. So I know that the 350-gram bag costs that much. The 225-gram bag cost that much. So they've actually given me both my ratios in this one. So I could write them both as ratios and then do a comparison. So you're doing a comparison weight over price. So how much weight am I getting for the amount of price that I'm paying? So in this case, you would do, you need to find out how many cents you're paying per gram. So you would actually break this down so you'd be able to do that. And so let's go ahead. Okay, we're going to write down what we know. So I know that the bigger bag of jelly beans costs $3.49 for a 350 gram bag. And so this one you have to do two separate parts in order to solve it. And so let's do the big bag of jelly beans first. And you know that whenever you have a number over another one, so numerator over denominator, you are dividing. So I go ahead and I take my number, $3.49, and I divide it by 350 grams, and I get a total answer of, and in this case you want to write down all your decimals that you do get, because you are going to have quite a few decimals that you get. Sorry, 99714, and this is how much it cost per gram. So now I'm getting an idea of how much these jelly beans cost per gram, and then I'm going to do the second one. So I'm going to do the second one in a different color just so you can see a little bit better. And so I have a price of $1.75, and this time it's over a gram weight of 225 grams. And again, I know that this means to divide, so I'm going to go ahead and pop those numbers into my calculator, and I'm going to divide them up and see what I get. So 175 divided by 225, and I get a price of 0.00777, and 7. The 7s are continuous over grams. So for which one am I paying less per gram? And again, you look at the numbers. So you don't have to look at all the digits, just go to the first few digits here. So if I look here, I'm basically paying 0.009 cents per gram, and for this one I'm paying 0.007 cents per gram. So when I look at the comparison, this one is actually the cheaper buy. So it would make more sense. I'm getting technically more jelly beans for a smaller amount than I am in this one. Although this one looks like the bigger bag in terms of grammage, this one is actually the cheaper price to purchase. So if I was looking to save money, I know that I would buy the better deal, and my better deal is the smaller bag of jelly beans. So I would go to buy the the 225 gram bag of jelly beans. At this point, we've finished this question, but I'm going to add a little bit of a twist to it, only because it's going to carry on to our next our next video. And the next video talks about percentages. So let's say you actually take this to the cash now. So you want to go ahead and you want to purchase this bag of jelly beans. And so if you're going to purchase this bag of jelly beans, so I'm just trying to delete this. It won't allow me to delete. So I'm just going to move it up. I'm sorry, it's in the way, but it's just going to stay up there for a second. So you want to purchase the bag of jelly beans. It's $1.75. So you take it to the cash and you say, okay, I want to purchase the jelly beans at $1.75. So I know that I need to pay HST on that. And so HST, and I'm going to make a correction here. I know in class I told you guys that HST was 14%. It's actually 13%. So you need to figure out what 13% of this amount is in order to find out how much your HST is. So in order to find out percentage and do this, I'm just going to walk you through it one time really quickly so you understand the concept. So in order to take a percentage and turn it into a decimal, you take your percentage. So if it's 13%, you go ahead and you divide that by 100, which equals 0.13. So if it equals 0.13, so then you take your 0.13 and you multiply it by your cost amount. So if my jelly beans cost $1.75, I multiply it by 0.13, and just one second, sorry, I'm just going to do the calculation. So if I have 1.75 times 0.13, my tax on this amount is going to be 0.227, and we round that off, so it's going to be 0.23 cents is going to be how much it's going to cost me in taxes. And so then go ahead and you take your tax amount you take your tax amount and you add it to your price at the till. So if it's $1.75, I'm taking $1.75 and I'm adding 23 cents to it. So $1.75 plus 23 cents. Your total cost is going to be $1.98 at the till. So make sure you understand that and watch the next video as well. So see you guys later.